There's some big ones. There's your Pikachu, your Squirtles. How'd you think of those ones?
I personally was not one of the people who came up with Squirtle.
Okay.
I thought it sounded too much like a dirty deed. Like, I don't like the idea of like a guy going up to a kid and being like, "I'm going to give you a Squirtle." Like, that sounds weird to me.
Pay attention. Creepy weirdo.
I would like a strong, powerful woman to protect me.
He'll fight for America.
Hip, poopy square.
The Playable Characters Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to level 198 of Playable Characters Podcast. This is Brian McGinnis. As always, how are you, everybody? Welcome to the show. We have a great one for you. I'm very excited for this one. It's something you never seen before, even knew existed, but of course it has to exist, and it's going to be great. Before we get into that, quick couple things. I'm going to be moderating a panel for the Long Island Retro Expo in just a couple of weeks. It's called Uplink. You can go to uplink.com or laretro.com. It's the weekend of February 20th, I believe. I'll be moderating a panel with a bunch of teen influencers, and it's going to be great. They're going to talk about their retro game experience, and I'm probably going to drop dead because I'm old as I do this. So tune to that, laretro.com for more information, or Uplink, and it's on Instagram and all that stuff as well. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima a lot, and what's called Immortals Phoenix Rising. Stupid name, but amazing game. I don't like Breath of the Wild. I know a lot of you do, but this game is compared to that, and it's really, really fun. You should check them out. And both A+ in my book. My guest just burped, I think. We're going to bring him right in. It's going to be awesome. We have with us today, look, there's 8 million Pokemon, right? He'll probably correct me. I don't know how many. Someone has to give them all names, and this guy was in charge of doing that. So we have with us today the Pokemon namer. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good. What is your name, by the way? I guess yeah.
Oh, it's really nice to meet you. My name is Tony Namem.
Tony Namem.
Yep.
It sounds like a mob name.
Tony Namem.
Like Tony Two Fingers. He only had 2 fingers or something.
I mean, in our world, the names can get a little on the nose, you know?
Sure.
Like, of course, we all know the very famous Ash Ketchum.
Right.
So,
Oh, I never put that together until right now. I'm sorry.
yeah, Ash Ketchum. And then his buddy, who's the water trainer named Misty.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really on the nose here.
Right. Okay. And so how'd you get into this? Was this like did you apply for this? Was it just like you decided to one day like, hey, these things need names, and I'm Tony Namem? Like, how'd that happen?
We're all Namems, so it's kind of like a family business.
Okay.
So kind of like how you guys, a lot of the Anglo-Saxons got their names, the Miller and Taylors, from their vocational practices.
Right.
It's really a family business. I've been in naming Pokemon until since there's been Pokemon.
Yeah. Are you the only one that does this, or does your whole family do it? Like, that's a huge responsibility.
I'm the only one who doesn't. I'm an only child. My dad disappeared when I was 10. It's kind of what happened here.
Of course.
So I took up the mantle. He was like, we need to name these animals. He actually named Zero. He was very bad at his job.
Okay.
He was in the early planning stages of naming. Yeah. I was really in the ground floor of naming the first generation of Pokemon and whatnot.
Okay.
Like, it's on you, son. And then he disappeared forever.
Where do you think he went? You don't know? Do you ever look for him?
You know what? I asked my buddies who all their dads disappeared when they were 10, and they're like, where the heck do they keep going? Like, we're here now as adults. What happened to them?
There's just like a dad island somewhere out there. A bunch of cool dads just hanging out.
Yeah, and I'm just hanging out, having those $100 lemonades I see in the soda machines.
That's too much for a lemonade. I don't care how good it is, right?
I mean, it does heal my Pokemon, so
okay, that's good.
It has repetitive power, so it might cost a little more than
Yeah. Okay, sure. Now, how did you? Obviously, there's some big ones. There's your Pikachu, your Squirtles. How'd you think of those ones? I mean, were they just does it like come to you? Is there a process?
I personally was not one of the people who came up with Squirtle.
Okay.
I thought it sounded too much like a dirty deed. Like,
yeah.
I don't like the idea of like a guy going up to a kid and being like, "I'm going to give you a Squirtle." Like, that sounds weird to me.
It is.
But some of the other ones, Charmander, one of mine.
Okay. What does that mean? Because it chars people?
I mean, it has like a fire element. and it's a lizard.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, it's better than fire lizard butt. I looked over
Well-
at my buddy Joey, who named a Lickitung, and rolled my eyes like, oh, real creative there, Joey.
How do you think of that one? Lickitung.
Yeah, right. It's like looking at coughing and being like, oh, look, poison beach ball. That's its name. Moving on.
Not even close. Is Joey not that good at this, I guess?
Joey kind of sucks, but I don't want to say anything. It's kind of nepotism,
Okay.
because Joey's last name is Joey President. I don't want to say maybe what his dad does, but
He's the president, I'm guessing.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that.
President of what?
Saffron City.
Okay. Each city has their own president. It's nice.
Yeah, they're like, we don't have mayors, we have presidents. Of
It's the same thing, same difference, I guess, right? Yeah. Now, do you consult with like the trainers when you're giving them the name? Is it up to them, or is it all you? Like, do you just like, okay, I see your Pokemon, I'll get back to you in a few weeks with a name? Like, how quick is the process?
No, usually not, because a lot of the trainers are kids, so they want to name them stupid shit. Like, they want to name like Pikachu Sparky. Like, get out of here.
Come on.
That's like one rung above Lickitung.
That's a dog's name, Sparky.
What?
Like a dog's name, Sparky, right?
I mean, maybe the personal, like, that's fine. Like, that's why we give them the option of the nickname every time they catch a Pokemon. Like, if you want to name your Pokemon something stupid, like, you can do it, but we're professionals here.
I gotcha. Okay. Were there some names that just didn't catch on, like, or didn't work? Like, do you have to like submit it? Like, hey, I'm going to call this one, and do people like vote on it, or is there any like, do they all stick right away?
Yes. Like, I wanted to name Charizard Draco Ignis.
Wow.
Really like intense, get some Latin in there. And,
Sure. Fancy.
the other people were like, get your head out of your ass. Like, let's not be douchey about the names, okay?
It's just nice.
So,
on the nose.
some other guy said Firetail, so we met somewhere in the middle with Charizard, where it was kind of dumb, but also like maybe not so on the nose. I'll give you $2 if you guess who wanted to name it Firetail.
Joey
Fucking
Joey President.
Joey President.
It sounds like a rapper, like Joey Badass. Joey President.
And more like Joey Dumbass.
Seriously though. So did you always want to do this? Did you have any other aspirations in life? I mean, it seems like you're good at it, but was it like just like this is what you're doing because you are a name them?
Yep, I saw my name and I was like, I guess this is what I do.
Yeah,
I
okay.
never even thought about another option.
You saw your name? What do you mean?
Saw my name. I was like 6 years old and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's what I am.
The first time you saw your name when you were 6?
Yeah, they don't teach us to read very early.
And your dad was still around when you were 6, though.
Yeah, so he like even if he was around, he clearly wasn't a very good dad.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess if
I'm not saying I miss the guy. I'm just saying he hasn't been there.
Okay. Do you like does this spill over into your normal like everyday life? Like, do you name other stuff like your toaster, like bread?
Yeah, that's a charbreader.
You're really big on the char.
I like char. Char sounds really cool.
What do you call like your kitchen table?
Oh, that's a bullhold.
Yeah, bowlhold.
Bullhold.
You just everything you eat is in bowls.
Yes, I actually have I have some issues with my stomach. I have to eat everything in liquid form.
God, I'm sorry.
So
it's not even like pasta like in a bowl. You have to actually like
I have pasta
puree it
first.
It's pureed.
It's pureed, which is disgusting.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. That's very good. But hey, it goes down easy, I guess, right?
Yeah, because of my stomach issue.
What's the problem with your stomach? How'd this happen?
Well, one time I had a little too much to drink.
Iced tea?
Like, watch this! And I sent my Charmander out, and I took a big swig of like vodka, and I blew on his tail, and it charred my stomach, and followed all the way down, charred the whole system. And one of the reasons I'm obsessed with the word char now.
I got you. That kind of makes sense.
I am literally charred.
Yeah. Okay. Do you go by char ever? Like just to sound tough?
Legally, I'm not allowed to, since that's the bad guy from Gundam.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
When worlds collide, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that.
When you occupy an anime type space, it's dicey when you start stealing other anime names.
Oh, I guess that's why they need people like you to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Digimon is the worst. I hate them.
Okay, what is it? Is that not the same thing as Pokemon? Forgive my
No, they live in a
naivete.
digital world.
It's not the same.
No, they are technically in a computer. You get sucked into a computer, and they get around all the copyright laws because they just add mon onto the end of everything. You
Right.
notice that everything is something Agumon, Numamon, Anjamon. Even when they make Anjamon a lady, it's Anjawomon.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Those are namers.
I thought it was just like a spin-off of Pokemon.
No.
Not related one bit.
Coca-Cola, they are Pepsi.
Oh, not related one bit. Interesting.
They're Crystal Pepsi.
Right. It's coming back.
It's clear. There's no substance. It's terrible for you.
I'm so sorry. I just learned something big. I just assumed it was like a, like a less version of it, but like in the same world.
Absolutely not.
Wow. So those names are pretty dumb.
They are.
Yeah.
Lazy. It'd be really easy for me to be like, yeah, that's Lizardmon. That's Electromon.
It's not Jamaican in a way. Send Joey over there.
Yeah, Joey. Yeah, but if Joey makes a joke about Jamaican, he'll probably come off as racist.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are you saying I just did?
He is.
It sounds like it.
He's awesome.
So when people get the names wrong, I know I do. Do you get angry, or do you understand that it's a lot of them to remember? Like, do you get upset about that and try to correct people?
It hurts a little bit because they're butchering my work.
Right.
But the thing that makes me most mad is when people say Pokemon. Pokemon.
Yeah, come on.
I've slapped someone in the supermarket for that.
You have?
I did. Slapped her right in the face.
Did she learn her lesson?
I hope so, because she was very old. So I don't know if it was retained. But she was just like, oh, you named the Pokemon? And I just couldn't control myself. I saw red and slapped her right across her ancient face, and she fell over from her walker.
Oh my God. Well, I get that all. You got to cut her some slack. Were you having a bad day?
Yes, they were out of lemonade. So I was really craving it, and this was just recently after I charred my whole system with that stupid trick I tried to do.
Yeah.
So the one thing that made me feel good was lemonade, and they didn't. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you named the Pokemon," and bah, just across the face.
If she's listening, I'm sure Tony would like to say sorry.
I would not.
Poor lady.
I recognize that I overreacted, and probably I left her there. She might be dead. I don't know.
Wow.
But if she is listening, they're pocket monsters. Why would they be Pokemon? Get out of here.
Oh, is that what it is? Pocket monster?
Yes.
Look at that.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
If I could reach through the computer right now, I would. Because I've just told you, and you said it. You said Pokemon. A little accent.
Pokemon.
Yes. Okay. Pokemon or Pokemon. Those are the acceptable ones.
Not a long E. Don't say Pokey.
No, don't make it E.
Okay. I did a private gig for Lego one time, a long time ago, and they get very mad if you say Legos. There's no plural of Lego. It's just Lego.
Really?
Whether you have one Lego or 100, it's 100 Lego or one Lego. And they get very upset if you say, look at all these Legos.
Honestly, I'm having the same reaction you had to the Ash Ketchum thing earlier. Holy moly, did not know that.
Yep, they're very stern about it. They're like, don't say that again.
Well, here's the thing. This is what they got to do. At one of their events, they need to slap an old woman as hard as they absolutely can.
They wanted to slap me, I think. That's for sure. Yeah.
Aren't you 6'3" or 6'4"?
Higher, baby. But yeah, right around there.
Not as effective to watch you get slapped.
It's hard to reach my head. Yeah. Here's a question. Why not just why give them these creative names? Why go all crazy? Why not just call it Cat or Dragon or Lucille even? Why go through all the trouble of naming them these crazy things like Lucario or something?
I mean, do you ask that about your animals? You have 5 different whales. Why isn't it just called whale 1 through 5?
Only 5?
I don't know your world. I'm a namer for Pokemon, not your world. Okay. I'll name 5 whales right now. Blue whale,
Yep.
humpback whale, sperm whale,
Nailed it.
killer whale. I think they're trying to rebrand as orcas.
Right.
Narwhal.
What Narwhal? Is that one?
There we go. Okay, there we go. I struggled to get to 5. Can you name any more than that?
Shit, I can't. I think you nailed it.
Yeah. So yeah, whales 1 through 5.
You're good at this. I can see why you're the chosen one. All right. So yeah. All right. That makes sense then. Sure. Were you involved in Pokemon Go at all? That was a huge craze. Did you have anything to do with that?
I mean, everything had already been named at that point.
Right. There was nothing new.
They came to us to ask us, like, what funny hats could Pikachu have? And I was like, okay, so maybe for New Year's he has, like, a birthday hat?
Sure.
And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. What else? I'm like, maybe for Christmas, like, the Santa hat? And they're like, oh, man, you're great at this. And so I was like, maybe, for Easter we give him a flower crown. And they're like, oh, it's not even like a hat. So
like bunny ears or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. No?
Bunny ears?
For Easter. Right?
This is why I do it and not you.
You know what? I'm about to.
How stupid would Pikachu look with bunny ears? It's like 2 big floppy ears. We got 4 ears now.
Anyway, you just said everything's been named already. So what else are you doing? What else do you do? Do they keep finding more?
And I wait until they discover about 100 more.
Okay, so they do still discover some.
Yeah, when I started this job, it was 150 I had to figure out. It's now over 700.
700?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this list is not complete that I have then. There's only like 100 something on here. I didn't know there was
It's only 100 and something? Yeah, you are way behind.
No.
It hasn't been 150 since 2000.
Wow. And you did all of them. You named them all.
I was in the writer's room for all of them. I'd taken more of a back seat as it went along. I didn't like the way it was going.
Oh, really? What happened?
Trubbish happened.
What's
the garbage bag Pokemon? That's what happened.
There's a garbage bag Pokemon?
When you look around, you're like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. And you're like, maybe this is the time to get out. Trubbish was that for me. Trubbish was my Yoko Ono.
I'm looking him up now. He's literally a bag of garbage.
He is literally a bag of garbage.
And not like a garbage person. He's just a bag of garbage.
I had to take a leave of absence because after they did Trubbish, I came in the next day and I was like, I have a presentation. Everyone come on into the boardroom. And they're like, what? And I put up 3 pictures of different sizes of my own poop.
Oh.
And I was like, let's name this Squirt, Dingleberry, and Deuce. These are our new Pokemon evolutions.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is happening, Tony? And I'm like, oh, this is too much. Garbage is fine. But this is too much for you. And they're like, Tony, we think you need to take a couple weeks off.
I think Dingleberry and Deuce are really good.
Well, you don't like Squirt?
You kind of already have the Squirtle. So it's pretty
similar. I'm sorry.
No.
Don't want to ruin the professionalism of the name Squirtle the Turtle.
The Squirtle's pretty gross too. Yeah. But I would try to catch a Dingleberry if I saw it in the wild.
I mean, they're pretty common.
What is Trubbish's move? Like these things are just born to fight each other, correct? Like, what does he do? What does Trubbish do?
I refuse to acknowledge Trubbish, but I'm guessing he's like Grimer, in which he's got like poison gas and he's got like little floppy arms, so maybe he slaps you. I don't know.
It's gross. And does he evolve into something else? Like
Garbodor, I believe it's called.
Garbodor.
It's just like it's either I can't remember exactly. It's either a giant bag of trash or like 3 bags of trash piled on top of each other.
Let me see, Garbodor. Either way, that's it looks like. Oh my god, what a horrifying! Just looks like a big slot monster with a couple. He's got arms. So yeah. Now, who would want that one? Who would want that as a pet or a pocket pet?
What says to kids that you're mailing in more? Where you're like, and here's a trash bag, Pokemon.
And kids were excited about this. You're saying
there's an episode of the anime they made about it where a little girl falls in love with a Trubbish as her Pokemon.
That's not good.
Because everyone makes fun of the Trubbish, and she's like, don't be mean to Trubbish.
Well, I understand that storyline, but if it was any other Pokemon, maybe. But why garbage bags? That's crazy.
Honestly, I bet like Joey just looked. He's like, and today garbage bag. Yeah, garbage bag.
So they could just like put like a letter, like it's rubbish. I get that. They could just like throw a letter at the beginning and make it a whole new thing.
I mean, there's an ice cream cone one too.
What's he called?
Oh, I'm trying to remember that now. Vanillite, I think. Vanillite, vanillish. There's 3 of them because you get it as a little tiny little soft serve.
Sure.
And it evolves into like a 2-headed like double one like you get at the carts and like and then it evolves into like a 3-headed one at the end. But it's just an ice cream cone.
I would get the 3-headed ice cream cone if I saw it.
There's one that's just a sword.
And what's he called?
I don't even remember.
So
but it evolves into 2 swords that cross each other.
It should just be.
And it evolves into a shield and 2 swords.
Wow.
It never gets a body. Like the eyes are on the hilt and stuff.
That's kind of weird. It should be called sword without the W. SORD. That's kind of cool. No, sorry, I'm not good at this.
Is it kind of cool?
I'm not good at this.
I mean, is it?
No.
No.
Okay, hold on. So you mentioned the hats before. Do you also get to decide if like Pikachu, for example, that he becomes a detective? Is that part of your job too? Because he had a whole movie where he was solving crimes.
You know, you're part of this process where you name all these Pokemon. You create these giant worlds where people get lost in whole lands.
Yeah.
And the most successful property of all time is you slap a detective hat on a Pikachu, have Ryan Reynolds voice it, and they show 26 Pokemon total in the movie.
Well, I mean, you just said 700.
It feels a little bit like, oh, so it's almost like you wrote like a symphony, and all people want to listen to is Baby Shark.
It's catchy.
Like, yeah, it's catchy, but man, it kind of makes you feel like all the work you did was shit.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Or this middle evolution, Dingleberry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I see what you mean. It's like, I'm a very successful comedian. So like when people want to just hear fart jokes, it's like, look, I worked really hard on these other bits. Enough with the fart jokes, right?
Yeah, I crafted all this. And all you're all just trubbish.
I'm gonna start saying that a lot. I kind of like that word. And these things, what?
People in your world, if you start calling them trubbish, they're like, I know he insulted me, but I'm not 100% sure what he just called me.
Right. Because rubbish, it's like, that's what like fancy British people say when they don't like something. Oh, it's rubbish, right?
Yeah.
So to say trubbish is kind of even more pretentious, it seems like.
Yeah. It sounds like you being more pretentious than the British people, but in reality, you're calling them a garbage bag Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, which is cute in a way.
Okay. Yes.
And these things again, they don't. Their main job is just to fight to the death. Is it to the death?
Not to the death. No,
okay, just badly bruised
till they pass out from injury.
Yeah.
Till they black out. Literally, the term in the video game is blackout.
It's like UFC.
Yeah, they all faint, and if they all faint, you then black out.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're like connected mentally to these
yes.
things. Okay.
But like you don't get the crap kicked out of you. You only black out until all 6 of them are beaten so badly they faint. But don't worry about it. Like literally, Pokemon like to fight.
Yeah. Do they? I guess.
Yeah.
All of them? Even Trubbish?
All the animes keep telling me that Pokemon love it. And whenever they feel connected where they want to battle another Pokemon on behalf of a human who just yells their moves at them, they really feel most alive.
Okay. I know I've been saying this for almost 4 years on this podcast. I will eventually start playing like the Game Boy version one day on my RetroPie. I just want to try it and see what it's like. I have never played it.
Pokemon Silver, that's the best one.
Yeah, okay. Pokemon Silver? Okay, I'll keep that. And that's regular Game Boy?
That was Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color. I got that too. I got them all. All right. Oh, here's a good question, I hope. So like you mentioned before, like you try to like Charizard, obviously, or Charmander. Which one do you prefer? It's the same thing, right?
Do you mean, how do you mean?
Well, it's the same creature, just evolved or something? Or is it?
Yeah, Charmander's the first one, then you got Charmeleon, and then you got Charizard.
I think Chameleonaire made the Riding Dirty song, didn't he?
You're thinking of Chameleonaire.
Yes.
Charmeleon had have failed. There was one pseudo-famous Charmeleon rapper, but it's really easy to rhyme when you only say your name over and over again.
Right. Okay. He was in the group PWA, right? Pokemon with attitude. Okay.
Yeah. Again, all their songs started to blend together because all they can say is their name over and over again.
Right. All right. So you got your Charizard, right? Who's a big dragon. What if you named him something like Bibbly Toots? Like, do you try to match the personality to the what it looks like, or is it just random? I assume you try to match.
Absolutely, because if that thing landed in front of you and it said Bibbly Toots at you, I feel like you wouldn't take it seriously, and then it bites your head off because it's a dragon. If it was like Bibbly Toots, you're like, oh, you're cute, and then it kills you. Okay. So it kind of needs a name that when it says it at you and it roars, or if someone says, "Look out, there's a wild Charizard," they're not like, "Oh my god!" You hear Charizard and you're like, "Something might hurt me." You hear Bibbly Toots, you're like, "Ooh, I want to cuddle."
Well, you can have that one next time you see. What would a Bibbly Toots look like, you think?
Bibbly. I think Bibbly Toots would be like a pigeon, but instead of having a tail, it had like oboes out of its back end. And so when it walked, it was like boop, 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 boop,
I love it. I want to draw that for you.
Yeah.
Bibbly Toots. Can somebody draw Bibbly Toots for us, please? Please tweet us at Playable
Bibbly Toots. And I would love if people are drawing for you. I have a Pokemon that I've been trying to get approved forever. It's called Salmon.
What's it called?
Salmon.
Salmon, just like
called Samich. It's called Samich. But it's spelled SAL MICH, and it's a fish, but also a sandwich. And like the eyes are two olives and whatnot. And, and it's a grass water type, so it really helps because water is usually weak against grass types, but Samich is also a grass type. So if anyone, that's my next Pokemon I'm like really trying to get in the game.
Now, do you have to find this
Toots and Samich?
You have to find this creature first, or is it already a thing, Samich?
We learned from Mewtwo that you can do some genetic engineering and make Pokemon.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is that frowned upon, or is that how are you forced and pressured to like crank out more of these so you turn to horrible scientific experiments?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay, all
the time.
Yeah. So
using stuff together.
Is it just like a salmon in between two pieces of bread?
I mean, that would be kind of like a dark great thing where like it's a fish, but it's shaped like it's a sub sandwich. So like it looks like the body of a sub sandwich, and then like lettuce makes the tail, but the meat in the middle is actually like salmon.
Right.
The two olive eyes.
Yes, I love it. We're gonna see what we can do. Hopefully our fans can do this for us.
Bibbly sandwich.
To the death.
Oh my! Like a great if you could do for the pitch. If you could draw this, the actual image of the two about the fight, like they're in the game. Bibbly Toots versus Samich.
We have very talented fans. Someone hopefully can do that for us. It'd be great. If not, I'll try. That's the thing too. Like I mentioned before, the Charizard, Charmeleon. You have to think of like 2 or 3 names per Pokemon, right? Like because they evolve, and they have to like do like it's similar enough, but you still have to add something to it, like the original name, right?
Yeah. Earlier Pokemon were easier because we just kind of changed half the name.
Right.
Like Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, and Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard.
That makes sense, yeah.
Or just use different versions of a similar name like Coughing and Wheezing.
Okay.
Later ones got a little bit more intense.
Yeah. What are some crazy ones where they really went off the rails as far as the evolution name ones? Do you know any? Is that a name?
What turns into something. There's a little dragon called Axew.
Axew,
and then it turns into a giant dragon that I can't remember the name because I was starting to check out after the second generation.
Is it like let me ask you a question or letter X, letter U?
AXEW. AXEW. Again, I already told you about Trubbish, and I can't get over that.
It's a weird one.
The first generations were a simpler time. We used to think like we were being like real clever. Like the 3 mythical birds were Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, and each of their names were Uno of those trays.
Sure.
So we thought that was like super clever.
Cool.
Again, Joey named Mewtwo because Mew and then Mewtwo.
Right.
And the clone just Mewtwo.
Mm.
I don't know why they let such a legendary Pokemon go to Joey again.
Mm.
Joey President.
Right. Who is the most famous Pokemon?
The most famous Pokemon, Pikachu.
Pikachu. Yeah.
Yeah, Pikachu is more famous than most people.
Now, did you name him that? Because he kind of just says his name over and over again, right?
All of them say the name over, or they.
Yeah, was that an easy one?
Pikachu is a Japanese name for Thundermouse.
Thundermouse sounds cool.
Yeah,
I guess so does Pikachu in a way.
I wanted to name him Thormouse. Thormouse.
Thormouse. Okay.
Thormouse. Well, you knew what Pikachu was. I was like, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Thormouse kind of sounds like you just came from the dentist and you have a sore mouth. Thormouth.
Wow, that's exactly the same thing they said to me. They're like, we can't make it sound like someone has like a speech impediment. That's rude.
Thormouth.
Thormouth.
It's hard to say.
Thormouth.
And also to kind of say this topic, like you couldn't call somebody like, is Jigglypuff a Pokemon?
Yes,
yeah, right. Okay. I was confused. I kind of confuse her with Kirby sometimes. I'm sorry. But you couldn't call Jigglypuff something like Razor Fang, you know?
No.
Yeah, because
like naming Charizard Bibleytooth.
Exactly. So it's the opposite. They really have to match. And I think you nailed most of these. It seems like.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of prefer the evolution of Jigglypuff, which is Wigglytuff.
I didn't know that. It's great.
Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a baby version that we discovered later.
Oh.
Called Igglybuff.
Igglybuff.
Igglybuff, Jigglypuff, and Wigglytuff. It's like a tongue twister.
That kind of seems like you kind of took the day off. It's pretty easy. Just like switch around a letter or two.
Oh, you go ahead. You look at Jigglypuff and name it.
Razor Fang. He'd be a good.
Now the evolution is Igglybuff, Razor Fang, Igglytuff.
He'd be a good Bibleytoots, I think.
Bibleytoots.
Yeah.
That's what Bibleytoots evolves into. Razor Fang.
Yeah, there you go. I think if they're hiring, I'd like to kind of get into this. Is that possible?
I mean, an internship that I'll put you in for if you want.
I would like to just try. It seems like it'd be kind of fun. There's really kind of no wrong answers in a way. What's that? There's really no wrong answers. Almost.
There are definitely wrong answers.
Right, but they're down for anything, and then they just have to like vote on it, right?
I guess.
Okay.
It's like a writer's room. You don't want to be the guy's jokes who's never gets used.
All right, yeah. There's also one called like Slowpoke. Is he Slowpoke or Slowpoke?
Slowpoke. There's no little thing above the E.
Okay. And he's just like a slow ass Pokemon.
He moves very slow, and it takes a long time for pain to reach his brain.
Oh, that could be good and bad, I guess. He could just be taken and beaten, and then all of a sudden, an hour later, right?
I mean, literally, he evolves because he puts his tail in the water to fish for food. Mm-hmm. And if another Pokemon called a Shelder comes up and bites his tail, he doesn't even realize it happened, and he evolves into a Slowbro.
Slowbro. It's like oh my God. This is a whole world that I'm very interested in learning more about after this.
And they're psychic.
Who, Slowbros?
Slowpoke and Slowbro, they're psychic.
Well, that's awesome. You wouldn't expect. It's kind of very easy. You look at it, you're like, oh, whatever. It's like a little thing, but now it's psychic too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he knows the future. That kind of psychic?
No, more so like he can move things with his mind.
Like telepathic.
Yes.
Okay.
Jesus.
Either way, I'll take it. That sounds great. God damn, we learned a lot today. This is amazing.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, Tony, what else can you tell people before we got to get out of here soon? What's that?
I didn't even have to slap you.
No, thank God. I was very worried about that. What else is there to tell people that we haven't touched on yet? Anything else you want to leave our fans with?
Just remember, whatever you name something, that's what it is forever.
Yeah, that's true.
I leave you with that, knowing that there's a bird called Farfetch'd.
Why? What does he do?
It's a bird with an onion leek that it carries around like a sword, and it's called Farfetch'd.
Onion leeks will not make good weapons.
It can cut people up with it. And recently we discovered it evolves into a bigger bird with an onion sword called Surfetch'd.
Sirfetch'd. That sounds better. He's like a knight.
Yes.
Okay. So I gotta start playing this.
And if his league ever dies, he retires from being Sirfetch'd.
I'm worried, like if I really start playing Pokemon. Wait, what was it? The last one?
He just kind of like gives up being a Sirfetch'd. He goes into whatever version of their retirement is if something ever happens to his giant sword league.
I'm gonna have to. I'm worried if I do start playing. You said Pokemon Silver. Pokemon Silver is your favorite one. If I start playing, will I get addicted and just start playing all 700 Pokemon games?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Many people, yes. I don't see it happening.
I just don't understand why there's a red and a blue at the same time. They look like the same exact game.
Yeah, but we made sure there's like 5 Pokemon you can't get in each.
Jesus.
In red, you get Weedle, and in blue you get Caterpie. You get slightly different worms.
Caterpie sounds gross.
Caterpie's adorable. Get the fuck out of here.
We had Ditto on the podcast a while back. He's very down on his luck a lot of times. He's a little upset.
Yeah, because he kind of became something that we did not intend him to be.
Right, that's what he said.
Yeah. He was supposed to be this cool thing where he could turn into different Pokemon. And then we discovered later that he became quite the surrogate.
Oh, jeez. Poor Ditto. We hope he's doing better now. Hey, before we go, you want to play a quick game with me?
Sure.
Let's play a game of Wed Bed Dead, everybody. This is the world's famous Wed Bed Dead, the best game show on a podcast, Tony. I'm gonna give you 3 video game characters. All you gotta do is tell me who you want to wed, who you want to bed, who you want dead. And I'll show you some pictures just in case.
Great.
This first guy needs no introduction or picture. The world's most famous brother, Luigi. He is obviously Mario's brother, the tall, slender, green Italian man who everybody loves. He was on our podcast. He was great, super friendly, big blue overalls, and his brother sucks. We all know Luigi, right? This next one is we had the skinny ice hockey player on one time. This is the fat ice hockey player. So the guy on the right here, you can see the chubby ice hockey player from the NES classic Ice Hockey. He's slow, he's strong, and he plays hockey. That's about it. And this last one here, I think probably the best Nintendo box art ever. Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. That's such a cool picture. This guy, cool ninja. He can scale walls, good with a sword, and he's got like fire magic as well, which is nice. Very diverse here. So we got Luigi, fat ice hockey player, and Ninja Gaiden Ryu Hayabusa. What are your choices here, Tony?
Okay. This is pretty easy.
Oh.
Wed Luigi.
Yeah?
The dude, I recently just played through his game, that Luigi's Mansion 3.
Excellent.
He works very hard.
Yes.
He's very down to earth.
Yep.
But he's also very loyal.
Sure.
So I think that's very clear a wed. I would bed Ryu of Ninja Gaiden because he seems dangerous and intense. So it'd probably be like an intense, dangerous experience, but not something I want to live through my whole life with.
Right. One night's fine.
And then I'd have to dead the fat ice hockey player because you're supposed to be an athlete, man. Get your stuff together.
Can you name him something else? His name is just Fat Ice Hockey Player.
Yeah, like I won't judge him for. Like doing exactly what you were named for, I can judge someone for.
Right, you get it.
But it seems like maybe he's gotten complacent. Maybe he's gotten a little lazy, and I don't appreciate that. So I'm gonna dead that guy.
What could be a better name for him instead of Fat Player?
Chad. Anything. Maybe let's not shame him with his name when he was born and they're like, you shall be fat ice hockey player.
I thought you were gonna say something like Ice Slapper or something. You know,
like if my name was Obese, I'd be like, wow.
My parents nailed that one.
If people are gonna call me that anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. Great choices there. Now it's always good. You think it's good to marry a professional athlete. They have money, but this guy hasn't worked in a long time. So I'm trying to sort of like.
And hockey is getting rid of the enforcer.
And
the whole job of being strong is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, and the sport in general, nobody watches.
I'm
gonna wed Ryu Hayabusa though, the Ninja Gaiden. I just think having someone like that as my partner, as my mate, would be great at parties. It'd be fun. He could teach me how to scale walls. Who doesn't want to scale a wall easily?
Yeah, like top 5 thing I want to learn.
Yeah, right. We'll put definitely. We'll have a bunch of knives on the wall. We'll go spar sometimes after dinner. I think that'll be fun. And he's got a cool outfit, so he's gonna get wed. You know what? I'm gonna bed ice hockey player here. Just because I don't know. He probably hasn't had it in a while. However, ice hockey, I've been in hockey locker rooms before. It's the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life.
That I can vouch for that. Yes.
Yeah, it's literally the worst smell. So after I don't know if the sweat, if the ice like freezes it and keeps it, I don't know. It's just disgusting. So after he showers, we'll have a good time. Unfortunately, I have to dead Luigi in this situation, which I don't think has ever happened. But just in this situation, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to him. I'll suck him up with his ghost vacuum. What's that?
You can go hang out with all of his ghost friends.
Yeah, there you go. So those are my choices there. But Tony, man, what a chat. This has been great.
It's good to not just brainstorm names with someone.
Seriously. I'm glad we got to the bottom of why they're named what they are and how difficult or easy sometimes it is. Like some just come to you, I guess, right? Of course. And some like how long is the longest one it took you to name?
The longest one it took me to name.
Like just couldn't get it right. Was there one?
Probably would have to say Magikarp.
And he's just a magic fish?
He does nothing. Literally, he just flops around and splashes. If you play the game and someone's like, do you want to buy this Magikarp for like $35,000? Don't do it.
Don't do Magikarp.
I mean, they turn into Gyarados, the giant, but they were like, okay, so here's a fish, it does nothing, and it turns into a dragon. And I'm like, oh, okay.
How do you get it to turn into the dragon? I want to fast forward to that. Oh, man. So you have to keep fighting with it?
But it can't do any damage. So a lot of times in later games, they add tackle, but it's so weak it does nothing. So essentially what you got to do is either have to have an experience share, which shares whatever you get through your whole party, or you have to have it start the battle and immediately sub it out for a different Pokemon.
Wow, there's a lot going on there. I'll remember that when I start playing Pokemon Silver and Ever. Interesting. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. Hopefully good luck on the next couple hundred that you name. Come back anytime if you want. Let us know what you're naming them. All right.
Thank you.
If you need help, I'm here. I got some ideas.
After Bibbly Toots, I definitely will put you in for that internship.
Thank you. Everybody else, thank you for listening so much, and we will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye. Today's playable character is played by Andrew Del Vecchio. Check him out on Twitter and Instagram at AndrewJDV, his comedy show at On the Spot NYC, and check out his awesome music at My First Day Music on Instagram and Twitter.